Are you ready to buy a house? You're not sure what to look for when you're looking at houses online and in person? Let's go over some things that you should look for when you're looking at houses.
And this video starts right now.
Hi, I'm Chad with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. I hope you had a great weekend. Remember to hit the subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified of new videos that drop every Monday at 10 a.m. So you start looking at houses. You're super excited. Of course, you start at Zillow.com. You look at all the houses online. You see all the beautiful pictures, and you're ready to go look at them in person. But what exactly should you be looking for? Those are all really great questions. Let's get into them. First thing to remember, when you're looking at houses online, those pictures are usually touched up. They use filters, they lighten them up, they use wide-angle lenses to make the rooms look bigger than they really are than when you go see them in person. Oftentimes when you see a house in person, the rooms are a lot smaller than they look in the pictures. They make them look bigger in pictures just to get you into the house to look at them. Us as realtors, we want you in the house to look at it. That's the first step in getting you to buy it. So of course we make the pictures look better, just to get you inside the house. So remember that when you're looking at them online, the house usually will not look exactly the same it does in the pictures online. Remember, when you're looking online, to check the description online. Are they selling the house as is? Are they willing to make some repairs for you if your inspection finds any defects in the house? Those are important things to consider. If they're selling the house as is, it's just a term. Doesn't mean you can't ask for repairs. But a lot of times when sellers say that they're selling as is, it means that they will not make any repairs at all. Even government loan requiring repairs, like FHA repairs, if there's chipped and peeling paint, sellers still won't make that. So typically when they're selling as is, they're looking for a cash offer or a conventional loan offer, something a little easier to get through. So keep that in mind. Depending on the loan type that you have, you may not be able to buy a house that's sold as is. Also keep in mind, depending on your loan type, but if you have a government loan like FHA or VA or USDA, a lot of these issues you can see online before you even look at the house in person. Look at the pictures and see if you can see chipped and peeling paint in the pictures already. If you can see that stairs are missing handrails, other things that the FHA inspector may be looking for. Some of these things you can notice even before you go see the house in person. So you can check that house off your list even before you go and look at it. So make sure you look at these pictures carefully and look at things that you already know will be an issue for you. One big thing that you want to consider when you're looking at houses online, is it in your budget? I have a lot of buyers that want to look at houses that are over their budget. You know, it's fun to go look at houses that you can't afford, just wish and dream. But when you're a serious home buyer and you're looking at houses over your budget is just a waste of your time. In today's market, in January of 2022, most houses do not sell for under asking price. It's just the way it is right now. It's a seller's market. And if you want a house, you're going to have to pay at least asking price. So looking at houses that are way over your budget that you know you can't afford, it's just a waste of your time and your realtor's time and the seller's time. Make sure that when you're looking at houses online, that the house is within your budget. When you're looking at pictures online, oftentimes you can tell if you like that room just by seeing a picture. You know, that kitchen will work perfect for us. We don't want to make any changes to it. But this kitchen, we're going to want to completely gut it and add a huge island and new cabinets. Well, keep that in mind when you're looking at pictures online. That's an added expense that you're going to have to incur yourself after you buy the house. The sellers aren't going to remodel the kitchen for you. If there's defects like non-GFCI outlets in the kitchen, they may fix that for you if it's not sold as is. Simple stuff like that. If the refrigerator isn't working, the seller is responsible for replacing that. But, you know, they're not responsible for completely remodeling your kitchen for you. So if the kitchen is not up to your standards and you think you may want to completely redo it and the house is already at the top of your budget, you may want to continue looking at houses because that's just an added expense you're going to have to pay for yourself. So what kinds of things should you look at when you're looking at a house in person? The biggest things that I look at as a realtor when I'm walking through a house is the ceiling. Do I see any water stains on the ceiling? That could be indicative of a roof leak, a leaky pipe in the bathroom. Now, it's not always an issue. You know, maybe it's been fixed and they just haven't repainted the ceiling yet. But it's a good question to have your realtor ask the seller. Is the roof leaking? Is it an old leak that just hasn't been fixed? Something you want to look for when you're looking at houses in person. You want to look at the general condition of the house. You know, like I said earlier, pictures can be touched up. They can be touched up with Photoshop. So you're walking through the house, you know, check, make sure that the walls are all not holy, of course. When you're walking through the house, does it feel like the floors go up and down as you're walking? You know, like a wavy floor? That could be a sign of a foundation issue. Of course, you don't have that checked out by a foundation expert. You know, is that something you do want to take on yourself? Maybe it doesn't bother you. Maybe you're a flipper and you want to fix the house and make it right. But these are all things to consider when you're walking through a house. Are these issues that you want to tackle yourself? Are they issues that don't bother you? Are they issues that scare you away from the house? When you're walking through the house, just look at the general condition of it. Am I okay with making a few repairs? Am I okay with changing the carpeting in this room and changing the flooring in this room? These are all questions to ask yourself while you're walking through a house. Definitely while you're walking through a house, Check the size of the bedrooms and the kitchen. Those are usually the two most important things to a buyer, is the size of their kitchen. Is the kitchen functional for them? People spend a lot of time in the kitchen, cooking, eating, just general conversating. Is it big enough for you and your family? And you all have breakfast at the dinner table there? Is the dining room big enough? The bedrooms. I know bedrooms are just used for sleeping generally, but people spend a lot of time in their bedrooms. Whether it's, get away from the spouse, watching TV in there, whether it's the kids playing in their bedroom, or if it's just sleeping. You want a decent sized bedroom. So take a look at the size of the bedrooms. Pictured online, they use wide angle camera, so the bedrooms look huge. When you actually get in the bedroom, does it still feel huge? These are all important things to ask yourself. Are these bedroom sizes big enough for me? Or should we move on to a different house? Take a visual look at the roof. Look at it from the ground. Does the roof look like it's in pretty good shape? Does it look like it has at least a few years left in it? Roofs can be very expensive to replace, so that's not a cost you want to incur when you first buy a house. You want the roof to have at least a few years left in it. Of course, when you have your home inspection done, the inspector will go up there and check the roof for you. They won't have an exact number of years on it, but they can tell you roundabout, your roof has probably halfway through its life, so you have another 10 years on it. They'll also go up in the attic and look in the attic and see if there's any water stains coming through the roof or anything like that. So you don't have to get super in depth when you're looking at the house yourself, because you'll have a home inspection, of course. When you're walking through the house, one of the biggest areas to check is the basement. The basement is the bones of the house. When you first walk down there, how does it smell? Does it smell musty? Does it smell like there's water down there constantly? Or does it smell like a typical basement? Basements have a smell. It's usually not the greatest smell. When you're walking through there, is the basement finished or unfinished? If it's finished, look at the bottoms of the drywall. Do you see water stains down there? That's indicative that there has been water in the basement before. Maybe it's been fixed. Maybe they haven't had water down there ever since. Maybe it was a one-time thing. If you're looking at the house in the spring, that's usually the best time to look at the houses, because we're typically having the snow melt. We're typically having lots of rains. So if there's going to be water in the basement, that'll be the time there's going to be water in the basement. If it's an unfinished basement, look at the concrete. Usually if there's standing water down there, you'll see water stains on the concrete. Ask your realtor. Realtors are experts at this. They can point this kind of stuff out. But these are questions to ask the seller. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, has it been water in the basement? When was the last time there was water in the basement? Have you done anything to fix the water in the basement? If they haven't done anything to fix it, it can be fixed, but these fixes can be very expensive. If there's not a sub pump in the basement, it's usually the easiest and cheapest fix. It's still costly. They still have to come in there and break up the concrete, dig a new pit, put a sump pump in there, and run it outside. You're still looking at, a $5,000 to $8,000 cost right there. To water seal the basement, that's even more costly. They have to dig all around the basement, break up all the concrete, put new drain tile in, and that's usually, a $10,000+ fix. So these are all questions to ask yourself and ask the seller. When you're walking through the house yourself in person, don't worry about finding all the defects yourself. That's why you hire a home inspector. They go through and they find all the defects. You just want to walk through the house and see if you can see yourself living there. Can you see you and your family enjoying the place there? Is it a home you can see yourself in for the next several years? What kind of improvements are you going to want to make to the house? Go through and make a checklist. I'm going to want to replace the flooring at some point, maybe replace the windows at some point, change the paint color. Make a list of things that you may want to do to the house over the years. When you're walking through the house in person, just try to imagine yourself there. Just remember that looking at houses online and in person are very different experiences. When you're seeing the house online, it's very touched up, makes it look immaculate. But we do that on purpose so we get you inside the house. We want you inside the house to know if you really like it. We don't want to go through the process of the buying process and all of a sudden, a week before closing, you decide, I don't want to buy the house, and you back out of the deal. So we want you inside the house. You can see yourself there and envision yourself living there. But seeing the house online and in person are two very different experiences. Try your very best to see the house in person. If you can't see it in person for whatever reason, ask your realtor to do a virtual tour for you. I do virtual tours all the time now, almost daily. I do it for people that just don't want to go outside because of the virus. I do it for people that live out of state, that are thinking about moving here in town, investors that live out of state. I go there with my iPhone. I either shoot a video for them and email it to them, or I FaceTime them. It's a great way to look at a house virtually. You can ask your realtor questions while you're going through it. You can say, hey, Chad, stop. Go back to that room real quick. I want to see how big it looks again in the picture. Or I want to see if that room had a closet. Or that master bedroom looked beautiful. I want to see that master bath again. So if you can't see it in person, virtual is a great way to look at homes. If you're currently looking for a home right now, be sure to check out this video up here, the cost to buy a house. It has a lot of very good information about the hidden costs when it comes to buy a house. They're not really hidden, they're just costs that you don't think about when you're looking to buy a house. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share this video. I hope you found it informative. I hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm here to help you. Thank you for watching my video. Have a great week and happy house hunting.